Hello and good morning, good afternoon, Speed Gaming community. We are on another day in the main tournament group stage. Today we are watching IConIC versus Gammachuu and they are playing AD Key Sanity with starting boots. On my side is Ryan Tanki. How are you doing?
I am doing fine, and I'm looking forward to seeing this race. It is gonna be the second race for both of our runners, if I picked things up correctly. IConIC starting with a win over Tyler Salt and Gammachuu with a win over Iceman, respectively, if I didn't mess that up. So yeah, second race, both 1-0, and looking for their second win to solidify their lead in the group. Also, AD Keys being the pick of Gammachuu, if I did read that scheduling thread correctly, who is the higher seed in the group, so made use of his right to choose to go first with this pick.
And
They
here we
are
are
off.
going. Both with a start in Link's house.
Yep. And immediately the first small difference, IConIC going for the classic uncle start. Gammachuu making advantage of that boot start and immediately heading over to the 3 items in the back of his Sahasrara. Which, one option that you have available with the starting boots over the normal items. And we also know the green pendant being in Thieves Town, thanks to that already.
And we got a big hit to Skullwoods and a red goo in at the back of Sahasrara.
Yep. Trip over to Zaha already maybe paying off a little bit here. Gammachuu will be able to get to Kakariko with a bottle, so will be able to check Sikit immediately, unless IConIC does find one of the other 3 remaining ones. So getting a nice 4-bomb 3-pull there. Nice to see. We don't need to bonk onto the stone there, and bonk rocks with a glove. Interesting.
Looks like IConIC is on the way to Lumberjack.
Seems like the 4-bomb 3-pull might have been tier 2 or 3, and didn't pay fully attention to which. But yeah, some slight advantages here going into Kakariko for Gammachuu, but see, there's gonna be long since we need to do all dungeons. So we will be here for a while.
Yes.
So there's a lot that can happen still. Just a harpies and Lost Woods. Gammachuu opting to not check Lumberjack yet, which there is no pressing need to. We know that we have to do Lumberjack or Castle Tower at some point. And to be able to do that, we need to find the 2 Castle Tower small keys, which can literally be anywhere, even in Castle Tower. But yeah, it is not that likely that we will need to clear Castle Tower early. And if we do, we're very likely to see the Castle Tower keys sooner than later, so our runners. Or Gammachuu in this case. Oh, not going towards Kakariko just yet, instead deciding to go Lumberjack into the probably Water Walk. Oh, small key on there. Towards South Shore. I mean, Gammachuu has 10 bombs, so yeah, can absolutely do that. Also already found the 300 rupee for money. No, not yet. Never mind, we have a glove. Of course. So yeah, just going up the mountain. Why not?
And we got a sword in Blind's hideout.
Nice. Early weapon definitely will make IConIC 5 a bit easier going to South Shore. Gammachuu having made it all the way up to the mountain, getting 20 rupees force troubles and not deciding to go any further. Just wanted to have that 7 quid point up there for an easy mountain start. Allowed him to check Lumberjack that way. Then can go off and do other stuff, which will be Kakariko from the south, which does make sense given that Gamma has cleared out the Lost Woods already. Meanwhile, we did find a Quake in the well and now got a Misery Maya big key from the bottle vendor.
Yes.
This one of the big keys that we will need eventually.
We will need it on anyways.
I mean, like, we don't necessarily need the Skullwoods big key, so there are some big keys that we don't need necessarily, but the Misery Maya big key definitely is one of those that we do need 100% every time in this mode. So, yeah. Probably better to have it earlier than later.
Yes.
Our runner is switching places. Gammachuu now here. With that one upside of having the bottle already, will be able to check Sicket and does get 20 rupees force troubles. So yeah, no big disadvantage here for IConIC. Will not forget about his check, so and will be getting it at some point later, but yeah, is not missing out on anything early on. Also, picking up those 300 rupees from the library, very, very nice. So we don't really have to worry about the paying of Zora and the seed. We do have enough money to play around with. Which is always nice to have. Yeah. IConIC again starting Sanctuary, probably going for Back of Escape.
Makes sense.
Early Glove, 3 pretty quick items that don't really get much faster with anything else you find anyway.
Also, we don't need a bomb to open.
Yep. So, yeah. Pretty
good choice. There was the flute.
Also getting a cape too. Is interesting. Will bring IConIC back to Kakariko immediately, and also Gammachuu will have to make that additional trip. So yeah, not the ideal scenario that Gamma might have wanted here. Having to return almost immediately to activate the flute again, because I imagine, and yeah, Gamma's probably agreeing that going for Back of Escape is something you should probably do as soon as you can in most of these seeds. So will not be missing out on his flute. And it is kind of helpful for IConIC in the sense that now it's way back to Kakariko. Will be very, very fast to ever check the bottle once IConIC comes across one.
We are in desert now on IConIC side.
Yep. Nothing particularly interesting on the ledge, going over for a Gina. Test our special 20 rupees, replacing the boots in the item pool. Because we are starting with boots, obviously we don't need to find again, or don't need to find them again, and they are simply replaced with this kind of special green 20 rupee. No logical implications behind that. That doesn't mean that would have been where the boots were if we didn't start with them. That's not how that works. He
It's
just knows we have the boots from the very start.
it's just an item filler.
Yeah, pretty much. You could also still have other boots in the pool instead, or second or third boots in the pool.
But it would make
not
no
change
sense.
anything. It wouldn't impact the logic in any way because of the starting boots. We always are assumed to have boots anyway. The seed is aware of that. So these green 20 root rupees could have been on any torch or behind any boots lock check. So, meanwhile, both runners making their way into Mini Moldam Cave. Finding the mirror for IConIC here and the Master Sword. So, pretty nice to have.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, might make a trip to the castle more interesting, given that we got Cave and Master Sword. We have both ways to get into Castle Tower, where one chest already is in logic for another item, over which is something a bit different over the more standard modes like Open without Key Sanity, where you wouldn't have to worry about these because they would only have small keys. But they are now shuffled into the entire world, which means that those two chests in Castle Tower can hold on to any items available in the pool, which could be a moon pearl for all we know, since we are still looking for one. It seems like both runners going for a water walk here, which does make sense with boots and over 500 rupees. You don't necessarily would have to make this play. We do have the fluid, so we have a rather quick way back here. And maybe Gammachuu is only taking this all the way up to Man Under the Bridge. Or nope, it's gonna go towards the waterfall ferry to follow IConIC, who just found the Turtle Rock Big Key
And
alongside
a small.
against Tower Small Key. Another small key on the Zora ledge. Not something you're very happy to see because you're not currently able to get that easily.
We can't do splash deletion.
Not with the equipment we have currently, no. And without the Moon Pearl, the double water box is also out of question. Like, if we were to get the ferry into the bottle from the waterfall ferry specifically, there might be a way with a ferry revive down there, but that's like not that likely. We haven't checked the ferry yet, only Gammachuu has the bottle, which is already filled. There's no reason to waste that in the hopes of maybe getting a ferry off the key, off the ferry, just to get a small key that doesn't really do much for us yet, probably.
Both runners now on the way to the Dark Cross.
To have the mirror, so the 4 remaining items in the castle are something they surely want. Of those, really only the first item towards Zelda Cell in logic, since we do not have any light stores and no Hyrule Castle small key yet. But maybe the more interesting thing here is that first chest in Castle Tower, because we are kinda running out of checks that we can do logically a bit. There's still inside and outside of Spectacle Rock and the first 2 checks in Hera that we can access with the mirror. The flute does bring that in logic, but yeah. Aside from that, these are almost already our last available checks logically over here. Like, not the 2 that IConIC is going to make, but the one that we will likely see from both runners after they have gotten all the way to the zone.
Another idea would be a dip to Eastern.
That is true. They are available. 3 checks in there without a light source, logically. And we do have a glove, so we do have a slightly quicker way getting to there. Yeah. Will be interesting to see what our runners decide. And IConIC deciding not to take a peek into Castle Tower. Okay, this could be maybe an early difference here. Again, this chest is perfectly logical, and it is... yeah. We did get 2 swords and a cape rather quickly for an all-dungeon seed, so it's not that usual to see them this early. So maybe this is something we are supposed to do earlier than later. We will see. Oh, no, just 3 bombs, so yeah. IConIC getting rewarded for a slightly more aggressive choice here, leaving the first chest in Castle Tower behind. Instead, opting for Eastern. Let's see if that choice will pay out, or if we are supposed to go towards the mountain next. Small key for Tower of Hera, which is nice to have, but doesn't really do much for us yet, since we do not have a way to light the torches in the basement. So even if we get there, we cannot get the item.
We need fire rod or lamp.
Yep. And Gamma following suit towards Eastern. It's not very likely that we can single the Eastern Palace in this mode. We do need to find the Eastern Big Key and a bow. And even without those, we do have 3 items available here. Yeah, it did not really look like there was much logical to find here. I mean, the Hera Small Key can come into play very easily if we find just lamp or fire rod on the mountain. Then Hera Basement would be what we are supposed to do. But for now, there was nothing that we immediately need to open up more options here in Eastern.
Big key just Eastern, the last possible check.
Yep. Not in logic without the lamp. Just 50 rupees. Which probably alleviates us of pretty much any money troubles in this seat ever again. Unless we want to buy some potions. IConIC now about to find this bottle. So might be making a quick trip back to Kakariko to check Sicket. Also getting that Skullwood's big key.
And his second shield.
Yep. Immediate loot over to 3. Check the bottle. And then probably off to the mountain. Really
Here
not
we
much
are.
else to do here. Well, yeah, really not much else to do. Like, what could IConIC do otherwise? Man under the bridge. I think that's pretty much the only check we haven't seen at this point.
No hope check yet.
Yeah. And Gamma Having saved the old man already, just going to the mountain. Spin speed not working first try, but getting it on second attempt is still nice. And there's the hammer, so we do have a right side up and the moon pearl that's just straight up Darkwood access. Will be interesting to see if our runners decide to go over to East Death Mountain anyway. There are eye checks available over there, and we can peek Floating Island. But we don't have to. We do now have Darkwood access. Can just start out on High Cave. Like, one reason to just go over to East Death Mountain is you are already up there to grab the hammer anyway. And yeah. Without the hookshot, getting over there will take you to climb the mountain a second time. So
Check the right side of Death Mountain would make sense on this point. I mean, you can dip Hera front and go next to the right side of the Death Mountain. I mean, it's all on the way.
yeah, but then if you get mid soon, if you maybe get hookshot too, then you can take Dark Death Mountain 2 in a trip. So there is options to make up yourself reasoning to not go there. We'll see if our runners find enough of those reasons to not go over there. Looks like Gammachuu is just heading over there. We did find a second pot key here in Hera basement. Which is available now that we have Dark World access. Not too much in logic yet without bow, but both have a bottle, so they could do the potion camera unlock if they wanted to get 2 more checks there out of logic. But given that we only have 2 pot keys, probably not on. Looks like IConIC indeed decide to not go over to East Death Mountain yet, and is missing out on that bow and spiral cave. Oh boy. This might turn out very, very awkward here for IConIC.
Yes, absolutely. Door number 3.
Okay, and the map for Ganon's Tower, so yeah. Not really much hype to get here. I mean, Tempered Sword is nice. Definitely like to see that, but well, Powdered Desert Palace Marquee. Red Crystals in Pot and Hera, okay. Yeah, and if this is IConIC maybe going over for an early pot dip, this missed bow would hurt really, really bad. It's going for the pyramid first here. Maybe now going back for Castle Tower with the mirror. We'll see.
Maybe.
Nope. Still not going over there.
And only 5 rupees on Pyramid Ledge.
And now is going to pot. I mean, it will probably not hurt them too much, given that he has a bottle for the potion camera unlock, and it's unlikely that Gammachuu will be able to finish pots the first time he heads there. But yeah, not having that bow around here is still maybe costing IConIC here a bit with that immediate trip over to pot. With only 2 keys too, and no lamp, so...
No lamp, no big key.
Yeah. While Gammachuu going the other way, finding the hook shot on Stumpy. Which...
That's nice.
I mean, this will make IConIC's way back over to East Death Mountain much nicer. Pot key in pot. And nobody who's ever played Key Sanity is going to be surprised here. So that's the third available, which does allow you to take a bit more throughout route here through pod.
Also found pod map in pod.
Unfortunately for IConIC, it's not giving me much new information, as IConIC already knew it's a red crystal. Looks like Gammachuu is gonna go check that powder that we got access to with the hammer. There's the PCU from IConIC. Drink a potion. Going left in the previous room prevents the camera from being locked onto that screen, so we can move the Igors off screen, trick the game into thinking they are dead, which makes it open door for you. And Gamma is now going for Village of Outcasts, apparently. Maybe take a dip into Skull Woods. We do have that big key, so up to 6 items to grab there.
Also a small key.
Yeah, does make the routing a bit nicer. Take in the full magic drop from the tree here on the way, which you can do with the boots. IConIC not really finding much else here in pod. One palace small key locked behind 6 pod small keys. That's some potentially interesting tidbit of information that might point to Swamp potentially being a pendant. Or, I mean, we know that pod is a crystal, so the 6 pod keys have to be outside GT anyway. But it is certainly something interesting to know that whatever is in Swamp is supposed to be behind all 6 pod small keys. Of which we have found already key number 4 over here in Thieves Town. So maybe it's not that much of helpful information after all. Got a blue mail here in Thieves Town.
Make it a bit easier.
Yep. And IConIC struggling a bit here with the hammer jump. Gets it on the second attempt though. The big key for Palace of Darkness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You remember 5 minutes ago when I said Gammachuu is likely not being able to finish pod on his first trip there? Well, I might have to take that back.
He just found the big key, so we only need the lamp to clear pod, logically.
Well, yes and no. Logically, we will need to find all 6 pod small keys, so we are still missing 2. Logic is not preventing Gammachuu from doing that, especially now with the blue mail found. So, even if Gamma would care about the logic, I don't think it would prevent him from just finishing out pod.
Now IConIC is also on the way to Village of Outcasts, and he will not be happy about this big key.
Nope, certainly not after he just has been there. And could have checked that. Tatarok big key, small key here in Skywood's big chest. Which I'm not sure. Is it our first one? Oh, there are flippers, so
Yep.
now that small key on Zora Ledge is logically available.
We also found bombers. And yes, it was the first TR small. When I look on IConIC's tracker.
I mean,
Okay, one TR was from Dark Maze.
yeah, I kind of thought I saw one somewhere else, but yeah, it was just there then. So both have one, or IConIC, if IConIC decides to check that big chest should have two. Another Turtle Rock has marker here on Vanilla Big Key Chest in Skullwood. One that IConIC decides to leave behind for now. A slightly risky proposition, but we will need to finish Skullwood at some point anyway and come back with the Fire Rod, so probably a bit more for efficiency concerns. IConIC deciding to leave that check behind for now and hoping that he does find the Fire Rod early enough to just route that together with the remaining two checks in Skullwoods. Which, given that it is the Turtle Rock small key, is probably something that IConIC will be able to do in time for having to go to TR, but I mean, the Fire Rod could just be in TR, and yeah, if Gammachuu decides to go over to Pod at some point, picking up the small key here for Turtle Rock on Lake Heidi Island. Okay, that's all 4 Turtle Rock small keys known, and deciding to also pick up that small key on Zora Ledge here. I'm pretty sure Gamma wants to at least find one more pod key, so he does not need to have too many checks behind, and Pod is maybe hoping for one key in Pod, which is again something you are seeing quite often in Key Sensei seeds. So here the hope for Gamma to maybe find another key so that he can finish out a Pod with 5, and it is indeed a Pod small key on Zora Ledge. So yeah, this is gonna work out very, very well for Gammachuu here. Being able to clean out Pod in one single swoop, not having to leave behind any item because he will get another Pod small key. And with 5 keys, you can get any check without having to take the long trip over the right side multiple times. So yeah, this is working very, very well here in favor of Gammachuu, and yeah, IConIC.
Talking about bodies on the way.
Yeah, it's just gonna be harder and harder for IConIC to making up here the lead that Gammachuu is slowly but surely edging out for him. There's still a lot that can happen, but yeah, with the bow on Spiral Cave, and then the Pod Big Key just enabling Gammachuu to finish Pod without a second dip. Yeah, IConIC needs to find something that helps them. And given that IConIC already decided to leave behind the one Turtle Rock small key in Skullwoods, there are some very, very bad scenarios that could unfold to where if the Fire Rod is in TR and maybe the Ice Rod turns up to somewhere, Gammachuu is able to get to clean up TR in one trip and IConIC is not. This could be already a very, very bad situation. Now, to finish TR, so to beat Trinix, you technically just need 3 Third Rock small keys, and IConIC will probably get that one of Lake Hylia at some point. But that would mean IConIC would have to leave behind the lava chest item.
Yes.
And yeah,
Lava
if you have to
chest.
leave that behind, you're not gonna go back for that. So that is even remotely important. That might be.
It can be important at just.
I'm also slightly struggling with this semi-jump. This should be fine now. There's the hook shot for IConIC. Nothing in pot big. First bullet dodged here for IConIC. And yeah, I mean, with the swamp small key found, IConIC just says, well, time to do swamp. I do have everything that I need.
Yes, we got the hook shot, we got tempered sword, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, we have to be slightly aware of the fact that this is not fully in logic yet, given where the swamp small key was. IConIC can maybe suspect that there's 1 or 2 more pot key early around. Swamp actually indeed being a pendant. But never mind, there's IConIC's 5th pot small key, so now he can be pretty sure that, well, the 6th is probably not too far away. Likely on Zora Ledge, which actually is the case, as Gammachuu has shown us. So yeah. Apparently swamp is what we are supposed to do next.
And as called, swamp is marked as pendant.
Yeah. It's not going to be the green pendant. We know that that is Thieves Town. So it is just one of the normal pendants. There's the compass for swamp. Which, I mean, is kind of interesting. We do know that Thieves Town is a pendant. So there's only 1 more pendant to account for. Might point towards the pedestal, maybe holding onto something. Could just be a map or a compass for one of the crystal dungeons, which are logically supposed to be picked up before you have to complete the dungeons. So, yeah. Does not mean that there necessarily has to be something important on the pedestal, but at least logically it might not be too far-fetched that the pedestal might be required, again, from a logic perspective. Meanwhile, Gammachuu on the way to Helmasaur King to finish out Palace of Darkness. And there we have the lamp. So you're actually logically supposed to go to pot. No, you are. Oh, this is kind of nasty. You are supposed to go into a swamp to get that pot small key from the first chest. Go into pot to get the swamp small key. Come back here, get the lamp, and then finish our pot. If somebody maybe wants a reason why runners don't really play too much according to logic and rather just take it as a suggestion, this would be a very good case in point.
This is Randall from his best side.
And there are the mids on Helmasaur King. Oh, this is also Thieves on Big Key on Argus, by the way. So both dungeon bosses that we've seen here actually having important progression. But yeah, I mean, this potentially could pull Gamma away from Swamp. I don't think it does too much. It's gonna check out maybe Desert. We do have the small key. And the Maya area first. There are some quick checks to grab over here. Myers bombers, which Gamma already had access to anyway because Gamma had all 3 medallions. We have seen the Ether medallion and
On port, big key chest.
Yep. Something that I'm pretty sure IConIC left behind because IConIC did not have those 5 pod keys that Gamma got around to have. So yep. Not hurting IConIC much yet, given that Meyer is just bombos. That might have been the reason for Gammachuu to actually peek the medallion. Because if Gamma knows that it would have been Ether, he might have had some some implications that he could use to convince him that IConIC might not be as early in Meyer as Gamma could.
We got half magic from Hobo.
Always nice to have.
And nothing special in Desert.
Yep. It's like IConIC is gonna go over to Catfish. I don't think Gammachuu has been over here, so yeah, this is one of the few options that IConIC does have available to him that might give him an edge, because Gamma is not very likely to go back over here if he has not been. Maybe I'm just confusing this and Gamma was already over here.
Looks like Gamma is going to Swamp now.
I mean... it is a dungeon that Gamma can finish, so yeah. Nothing on Catfish.
And he combines it with Sorrow Ledge.
Yeah. We'll find his last pod key, so yeah. Knows that he probably has to go back to pod, but yeah, without the bow it feels terrible. I would assume that IConIC was wanting to hold out on for the mids before going to the mountain. Unfortunately, he will not be able to, as the only available bow that we know of has been in Spire Cave, directly locking the Titan's mid on Helmasaur King.
Yeah, we know we need to do Death Mountain to get a bow to finish logically pot.
Well, not even logically, just straight up to finish pot. We do have no other way at the moment.
And IConIC is on the way to the mountain.
Yep. There will also be the powder very soon for IConIC.
And on Gammachuu's side, we will see for the first time left side swamp.
Yep, IConIC opted to leave that behind. It is just 2 checks. They are taking quite a bit of time. I mean, it's all Dungeons Key Sanity. Gammachuu has hit the seed very, very, very well up until this point, so there's no reason for Gammachuu to be overly aggressive. And, yeah. If the Castle Tower small key is just over here, there's no way to ever get back here if you decide to skip it early. So, I mean, Gamma will have to leave behind Swamp big chest already, most likely, given that the big D has not turned up anywhere yet, and it can be almost anywhere too, since it is not required to finish the dungeon at all. We get a bent red stick, unfortunately not the one we are really looking for. That is the red boomerang, and not the Cane of Samaria, so yeah, left side swamp, not holding on to anything important. IConIC not trusting his dash position there. Apparently we deemed it likely that the bumper would bounce him off, so decided to just go around there instead of dashing through.
Elma is down. Will he do Hero Basement?
He could. Given that he has been pretty aggressive so far, I wouldn't be much surprised if he did not. Decides against it.
Looks like Spike Cave.
He did not go down Spiral Cave, did he?
Nope.
Oh, this is awkward. Like, I get that IConIC is going to be a bit more aggressive at places here. It's just unfortunately for IConIC being the very wrong checks that he is avoiding. Not all of them. Left side swamp was okay to skip, but the Spiral Cave, a second time skipped, is now hurting him massively. I mean, what's a red mail in Spy Cave?
This looks like Sea Sound.
Yeah. Which we will see the very big difference between our runners here. Gammachuu, having gotten the Titansmiths off of Helmasaur King, will be able to just take the quicker trip into Thieves Town to Village of Outcast by taking the Mids portal, or the Mids way to the portal. But Gamma first deciding to apparently check Pyramid and Catfish, being very, very throughout here. Maybe really... Oh, nope. Oh, Hobo. Yeah, I mean, Hobo on the way. Yeah, I mean, again, Gammachuu really does not have much reason to feel like he's behind at all. He has hit the seat very well, so probably mitigating the chances that an overly aggressive skip might catch him off guard, and instead on relying just having hit a good route and being very efficient, carrying him to the win. Which, by all means, it absolutely look exactly like that is going to happen.
And as you called, Gammachuu is going to Catfish now.
Yep. I mean, has Graveyard Edge King's Tomb up here. Has a very, very clean route to finish up a lot of awkward checks. I mean, could still decide to leave behind Catfish. There's not too much reason to if you go out of your way to check Graveyard Edge King's Tomb. I mean, you could just jump down here to King's Tomb, actually, if you really wanted to. Looks like Gamma really wants to preserve his portal, so we will get to see Catfish from Gammachuu too. I don't think Gamma checked the red crystals, it does not know that a red bomb would be easily available to him. So he could reasonably leave behind Catfish and just come back later with the red bomb anyway. There's the big key for Gen's tower in Thieves' Town Attic. We will need to find that at some point. Does kinda point towards maybe they're not being all too much in GT. And we do have to find still both castle tower keys. GT is always the prime location to hold at least one of them. But given that we have already cleared one pendant and are able to clear another one, yeah. Might not really be much else to look in GT for except those castle tower keys. Also, not having the Thieves' Town small key, IConIC has to leave behind
Big chest.
Big chest. We also do know that the Thieves' Town small key will not be in the GT climb, so that one will be around before that, but who knows whenever that will be actually. Meanwhile, Gamma deciding to take a trip to the Arctic Mountain. We can clear all 6 checks here. Gamma might take that all the way to Spy Cave 2. Has been very thorough so far, so would make sense at this point.
And I think he will also open TR.
There's not much point to. We don't have the game, so really no much point to. Gamma has all 3 medallions, so he doesn't even need to check the photo. Getting the Hera big key though, that will allow him to clear Tower of Hera.
Make a whole clear.
Yep. Which routes very well together with Spy Cave 2. There's the Ice Rod. So, yeah, we did get the Turtle Rock big key. Gamma has all 4 TR small keys, so we are looking for Fire Rod and the Cane of Samaria, and we can for the TR. Meanwhile, IConIC back on the way to pod with 6 small keys, maybe suspecting there's something in the big chest that he has gotten the big key for. It's gonna check the green pendant on the way. But unless this is the second bow specifically, which is the shovel, You know, in IConIC's position, I would actually maybe mirror in front of pod and check the shovel before I go back in here, because just getting a bow
yes, absolutely.
so important. On the other end, IConIC still has 2 checks in here that 6 pot small key 6 pot small keys enable him to get logically without a bow. So it's just very unfortunate that the one check that IConIC in here cannot do is the one that he has to do to get his mitts. Gets his ether. Here's the heart piece in Hero Basement. A 3rd attempt hook speed Terrapod. Still okay. Doing it unbuffered, which is the fastest way to do Herapod if you get it. You have a few tries that you can spend it on before other variations become quicker. So getting a 3rd try hook speed Herapod is still very good. Probably does save you time. Gamma taking 8 of the cape to dash to the bumper there. Quick thinking. Making use of what you have.
IConIC on the way to the shovel spot.
Yep. It is not in logic. We are missing the Thieves on small key for that, but yeah, IConIC is grasping for straws, hoping that one of the checks he did skip is not that it is not one of the checks he did skip. This might now be Castle Tower for IConIC.
Looks like.
We did not find a Castle Tower key, so the second chest in there is not going to be available either. Yeah, so we are at the point where those skips that IConIC decided to do are coming back to bite them big time. And yeah, like Gamma has already been very, very throughout, and like at this point, I cannot really imagine any scenario in which IConIC is realistically coming back from this. Yeah.
When you're doing your skips, you feel really behind.
It's not just that. I mean, IConIC probably knew and probably assumed that Gamma is going to be the favorite in this race anyway. Has been Gamma being the number 1 seed of the group, number 6 seed overall after qualifiers. IConIC being, I think, barely third quartile, like 93 or something after qualifiers. So yeah, probably going a bit more aggressive to make up some execution deficits by going for some choice skips. And well, if they don't work your way, basically this happens. Big key for desert for Gamma. So after clearing Ice Palace, which is our last pendant, but is also maybe the very one spot that might come back to bite Gamma at some point. Because Gamma does not have the Ice Palace big key yet.
He also haven't a small key.
I mean, this does make routing a bit more awkward, but yeah, not having the big key, Gamma will be forced to leave behind the big chest, and if that big chest in Ice Palace holds onto one of our Castle Tower keys, there may be a scenario where IConIC, if being able to get to the Ice Palace big key before getting to Ice, has a way back into this race, but like there has to be some like basically miracle scenarios like that at this point for IConIC to have a realistic chance. Or I mean, Gamma struggling way more than with Ice Palace bomb jump than he actually did right now. So like IConIC has made it all the way back to left side swamp to just not find anything worthwhile here. Because, again, this is the wrong kind of red band stick that we are looking for.
That's a red meringue, not a Samaria.
Nope. That's definitely not a cane of Samaria. Meanwhile, fire at the Ice Palace, good old rule of fire.
Well, of fire.
Yeah, like Gamma really looking for Cane of Samaria to finish out the last of the normal dungeons and the 2 Castle Tower small keys, and that's all Gamma's looking for at this point. And I was really, really close to just taking that back and make it one castle tower small key, but it was just a Maya spawn.
And now IConIC on the way to his bow.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure once IConIC spots that, IConIC absolutely knows that there's basically nothing that he can do. Unless Gamma is like forgetting how this game works, basically, at this point. And there's always the chance that your opponent routes as terrible as you do. So there's no reason to just forfeit right then and there. But I mean, IConIC knows that Gammachuu, that if Gammachuu just does a safe route, then he's basically 10-15 minutes behind at this point, and there's really not much that IConIC can do.
Yeah,
Except for hoping that Gamma does make some very big mistake or some very unfortunate decision somewhere down the line. Which we seen Gamma just play this as safe as you can be. So yeah, this is probably not going to happen. So
and after ice, Gammachuu can clear desert, he can clear swamp.
yeah.
Maybe we will see a blind pet pool. No,
I mean,
he need to do system first. I just saw it.
Yeah. I mean, he could. Nothing prevent him from doing that. Thing is, pet's not on logic yet. We don't have the Ice Palace big key. We don't have the Thief's Horn small key. So will be interesting to see how Gamma decides to tackle that, given those few options that he has available. Looks like it is indeed Gamma might risk Thief's Town Big Chest potentially having something. Oh, going for Smith Chain first. Never mind. Which again would make absolute sense, given how efficient Gamma is tackling this. Like the Thief Town big key alone does not really do much for the back of Thief Town. There's just the maiden cell that is in logic with that big key alone. Everything else logically requires the Thief Town small key too. So Gamma probably being on the lookout for that before going over there. Like still has 2 checks in Skullwoods 2, of which one is in logic currently, and one would need one more Skullwoods small key. There's a big key for Eastern Palace on the Smiths. So no combining pot and Eastern today. You need to finish pot to be able to finish Eastern. And Gammachuu apparently laying his portal to Thieves Town, checking the purple chest, and then finishing off Thieves Town. So again, taking the risk that the Thieves Town big chest might have something important to just be able to more efficiently route over to Pedestal. Oh, Ice Palace small key, not the small key that Gammachuu wanted to see there.
You just finished it. And now IConIC, the first time in desert.
I mean, for IConIC, this basically has to be a damage control at this point. Try to be as smart about what you can do for the rest of the seed. No, try to be as smart as you can for the rest of the seed. And hope that there is a world that maybe Gammachuu gets it somehow worse than you did. So, like, IConIC could have gone to the mountain. Maybe hope that he can single the desert. But that would also mean that he would have to climb the mountain again for TR. Which, I mean, he has to for GT anyway, but maybe wants to combine those two. So, yeah. I mean, just with the knowledge that you skipped that bow and spiral cave, it is just so hard to find a route that you can confidently say that is gonna win you the race if your opponent didn't make any grave mistakes. IConIC also going over for Ice Palace will be able to find the fire rod.
Also, there's a big key.
Yeah. Which is kind of unfortunate given that he was just there again. Seems like a theme.
Here it is.
Meanwhile, that's the last of the pendants for Gammachuu.
And there is a good possibility that he will combine Pet with Skull Woods.
Yep. Now, this could be potentially be punished by the very fact that there is still the chest under the bridge in Skull Woods, which could just have the Thieves Town small key.
It's possible, yes.
But it's very unlikely. You know that Thieves Town is a pendant, so absolutely fine to be logically completed after GT. Thieves Town small key just being in GT. So the risk is pretty low. Gamma is willing to take it, and we will find out very soon. Now, if it is the Thieves Town small key exactly, I wonder if Gammachuu would ever be willing to just go straight back, but it isn't, so we probably will never find out.
I think last opportunity for a small key in Skull Woods is modular.
Well, yeah, the one for Thieves Town. The missing Skullwood small key cannot be on Moth itself, as that needs 3 small keys to be in logic. Bit unlucky with the Moth movement there from Gammachuu, not getting the quickest of quick hills down there. But very, very solid still. And yeah, still no Cane of Samaria, and our options are dwindling. I would probably suspect we are going to see Eastern Palace next. Maybe Desert, although you can combine that with Mire, so you probably want to hold out for the Cane of Samaria before attempting that. There's not really much else you can find to make Eastern Palace faster, and the pedestal certainly did not help either. Just 20 more rupees.
So
Only the
pedestal.
most common check in the item pool. And yep, as suspected, Gamma going for Eastern will be able to turn in the green pennant afterwards, so this is, again, just absolutely solid, efficient routing.
He is on a good way, yes.
Taking as little risk as Gamma has to. That said, like, IConIC is still close enough that there is some fringe case scenarios that could help him catch up. So, very nice movement here from Gamma. Making advantage of the boomerang, taking advantage of it.
Now IConIC with his last pendant.
Maybe hoping for pedestal being the help for him, but we have seen that already from Gammachuu. Nothing in Eastern, although it is the TSL map. I think we saw the green pendant already. Not it was the shovel.
Green pendant was shovel, yes, and the shovel was a piece of art.
Okay, so also no logical implications. Yeah. Well, probably next going to be Desert Palace for Gammachuu. Probably after checking the shovel. Although the shovel is not a logic, so Gamma might hold off on that. Seems like it.
I think he will finish Desert.
Yeah, I mean, 2 checks for him left there. And if it's not Desert, then I'm very sure we're seeing Gamma just go into Misery Mire. Like, could still opt to check the shovel first, but unless the Thief Down small key is gonna turn up, I'm not sure if Gamma is gonna be inclined enough to do that. Well, there's the first Castle Tower key, which opens up one more check where stuff could be. But I also doubt that Gamma is going back for Castle Tower before going into Maya here without the second CT key. Yes, there's one check in there now that can be what we need. But Meyer at this point still has 4. 5? We have the big key. 5 checks logically available for us.
And the Cane of Samaria can also be French, Vanilla, and Mayo.
Yep. Again, 5 checks in Meyer currently available for us, logically. 2 more if we would find all 3 Meyer keys, which does not look likely that we will do soon.
And IConIC also need to do the Smith chain to get access to Eastern.
Which, I mean, we have seen that there's nothing in Eastern itself. So the way this could play out if IConIC were somehow to find the cane, which is apparently not in desert, could do TR. Although by that point Gamma could just go straight into GT, so that's probably also not gonna help too much. But yeah, basically the way for IConIC to win this somehow is finding the Thieves Town small key, check the big chest into the Smith chain, and get this go mode that way somehow, while Gammachuu is well, maybe that is actually the way for Gammachuu being baited into GT, looking there for the CT key, nowhere to be found. IConIC going to the mountain, maybe in the hope of just clearing TR if he finds the cane there. Will not be able to do that. But yeah.
We saw Dark Death Mountain and we know there is only the Ice Rod.
Which would be nice and would be what IConIC would want to find there if he would have the cane. But that is not the case, so... Still looking for one more castle tower key. Also not taking any chances of skipping Firelock Mire. There's the BT4 Hera for IConIC, so maybe he's gonna make a trip back over there too. That's the higher castle small key. That's unfortunately wrong castle small key. Need the one for the tower. There's big key for swamp. This is also one of the locations that well, Gamma's definitely not going back for that if he ever finds the key, the cane. Which Gamma has only one more check to do here in Maya currently. Well, no, 2. Don't think Gamma went to cutscene chest.
We haven't seen cutscene just
But
cutscene
Gamma
chest.
might opt to just not check it because we only have one Maya key, which apparently seems the case. Okay, that looks like the shovel for Gamma. Which will be only a piece of heart, and then probably gonna go Castle Tower next.
No, it looks like
nope.
swamp.
Apparently swamp big chest, okay. Does deem it maybe more likely that the opponent is checking swamp first. I mean, we do have red bomb too, actually. Now that I see it in chat, yeah. Red bomb into Castle Tower. That does make sense, actually.
Absolutely.
Kind of forgot about the red bomb, because it was technically available so early. But it is actually fully in logic, and it is 2 more checks, so yeah. Good spot there. Does allow routing into Castle Tower very nicely. And if neither of those 3 checks lead to the cane, then we are probably seeing a trip back into Swan. Nice bomb dupe here for Gamma. As IConIC is gonna go back for
desert.
And there's the cane in the red bomb. So, bit unfortunate for Gamma. doing Meyer before Red Bomb, but yeah, not really blaming him. Meyer had more checks, so was technically more likely. And like, maybe this is the point where Gamma might start to slightly contemplate that maybe he is not as ahead as he would like anymore. Don't think that's the case, but there's maybe now enough reason for Gamma to think that he didn't hit the perfect route to maybe give him opponents playing a perfect route an edge. So might contemplate not play as efficient anymore. Again, I really don't think that's the case, but you could have potentially have had that cane for quite a bit now. TR Maya would be fully clearable.
And we know we need to check Desert Big.
IConIC is going to do
For his first Castle Tower Small. Question is, will he think about the Red Bomb or not?
I mean, the likeliest thing is that you just go into Maya when you're here. Looks like IConIC really wants to just single that Meyer. This might actually just be the Red Bomb for IConIC, having already done the shuffle. So we are getting to the point where IConIC isn't too far off. Like, still 2 dungeons behind, which is quite a bit. But if IConIC were to get to Go Mode GT and Gamma is not, that's quite a bit of time difference there.
Absolutely.
And yeah. It's just... The thing is, IConIC needs to do the Smith Chain to get this Eastern Palace big key, so... He will have to have another mountain trip if IConIC does go for TR, but if the Castle Tower small key turns out to be in TR, well, no, that also would just not help because then Gamma would just in Go Mode. So it pretty much... Okay, what has to be here? The Thief Town small key has to be in TR. IConIC cannot go to GT after TR. So we'll go back to check that TT Big Chest. Find the second Castle Tower small key in there, then do Smith Chain after, find Eastern Palace big key for Go Mode. And get to Go Mode GT and Meyer at this point. Which is not the case, because IConIC is going to Meyer. Yeah. No, I just don't see it. I don't see the way for IConIC really realistically.
And I also think IConIC is playing for Eastern Big Key in TR.
I mean, yeah, now that Jade pointed out, cutscene chest Meyer is a chance. It is low. I could reasonably see IConIC trying to skip that, just trying to save time. So IConIC would have to make the read here that Gamma would not do the cutscene chest here because we only have one Meyer small key, and be willing to take that risk that that is exactly where the second Castle Tower small key would turn up in some way, either directly or some way indirectly. But yeah, again, I just don't see it. So IConIC, after this check, basically would have to go back and do cutscene chest. Which might be the case. Nope.
Nope.
So with this routing, it's very, very, very unlikely that IConIC will actually go do the cutscene chest. So yeah, that is just one more notch towards Gamma, just taking this. Like, there is this one big chest now, both have the key, but IConIC might actually take the third trip into Swamp back for it. Still looking for that Eastern big key.
Also the second Castle Tower small.
I mean, if he does find the Eastern Palace big key, then he would look for that probably in GT. Although, with how IConIC routed, you probably should know that if you do that, that is pretty much always the losing play. So I don't know. Looks also like Gamma opted to check to not check outside TR, so TR big chest, Mimic Cave, and Lava chest. Gets the silvers here on Lava
Laser bridge.
Laser bridge. Thank you. So yeah, maybe with that double dip Meyer, that was not strictly necessary. Gamma having or up to this point played very, very safely. Did not feel that comfortable anymore making the absolute safest play. Maybe just decided it's not going to be those 2 or those 3 checks anyway. Like, I'm just looking for that one Castle Tower small key. I have the entirety of GT open to me. But, I mean, that is opening up options for IConIC to maybe have a chance at some point, somehow, finding that second tower, Castle Tower small key. Okay, IConIC. What are you doing? TR? It looks like TR. So this is basically the big one. There are 2 checks that IConIC left, or that Gammachuu left in TR. And IConIC does not have the Eastern Palace big key, so IConIC cannot go into GT after this. While Gammachuu probably is going to almost, if not fully, clear GT and search for the second Castle Tower big key. Castle Tower small key. If IConIC manages to find that first before finding Eastern Palace big, maybe there's a chance.
Maybe.
It will heavily depend on what Gammachuu would do and check first after GT. But basically, if IConIC full clears TR here, IConIC has 3 checks to find this CT small key. 2 checks, maybe. I didn't fully catch which one Gamma was skipping. If it was just a firelock side, I could see Gamma actually just reasonably come back after clearing the basement of GT. Which I probably still wouldn't. Yeah, Gamma has to have been here on the firelock side because the mirror shield was here. So this is gonna be TR outside Big Chest, Mimic Cave, and Lava Chest. That Gamma skipped. They both have all 4 TR small keys, so they both had the option.
Another possibility for Hyrule Castle, for the second Castle Tower Small, is Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that's why I said 3 checks. Because that is together with TR Big Chest and a Lava Chest on the outside loop. They are all individually long checks, so I definitely can see the urge to skip them. There's a small key for Meyer. I mean, they have to be somewhere. And this is 100% locations for logic, so they will not lock themselves ever. Which they actually couldn't anyway, given how the logic works there. Oh, that's 1 bullet dodged for Gamma. Big key for ice. Oh, that opens up another check where the Castle Tower small key can be. Oh. Second bullet is coming up. Okay, we have to hold on that one. That's the mushroom. And what's the third bullet saying? That's a small key to Ganon's tower. Oh! Gamma barely dodging that one. That was a tower key, but not the one that Gamma was missing.
Was the wrong tower.
So yeah, we have to hold on that second bullet. That mushroom can still hold on to our Castle Tower small key, and if that exactly is the key, then IConIC may actually have a very reasonable chance here. Because there is 2 big chests that Gammachuu can return to before going back for TR. And they will take a bit of time for each. IConIC picking up the silvers. This TR finished for IConIC. No Eastern Palace Big Key yet, so we are most likely gonna see that shroom turned in immediately.
Boom, and then I think Smith Chain.
I mean, there's not much else that IConIC has open. Could go for the big chest of Swamp. It's an option. There's the shroom turn-in. Meanwhile, Gamma with the last 4 checks here in GT. Not a Castle Tower small key. A book that can have 2 more checks on them where the key could be.
Ether and Bomber
And
Separate.
it is not the mushroom, so yeah. Gamma dodged the 3 bullets that potentially could have cost them. That's the Ice Palace small key. And I think every other check that is open still Gammachuu will get in time to before IConIC will
Last check
get
in
enough
GT.
time back off of it. I mean, IConIC has to do Smiths before GT. There's one big problem with doing GT for IConIC, and that is IConIC does only have 6 crystals. So that Eastern Palace Big Key is absolutely required for IConIC to reach GT. That was the big advantage that IConIC had for finding the Castle Tower small key outside of GT, because then he could just straight up go mode it. It's not gonna be the case though, from the looks of it, because he will find Eastern Palace Big Key. And unless IConIC decides to just check a Swamp Big Chest first and find the Castle Tower key there, Gammachuu is gonna run away with this at this point.
Cutscene chest is also an option.
That is true, but yeah, Gamma is gonna check CT for the vanilla key. The problem with the Thieves Town Big Chest is we still do not have the Thieves Town small key, so neither can check that actually. So if that is actually where this Castle Tower small key is, this absolutely benefits Gamma, because yeah, they would have to hunt down the Thieves Town small key, where Gamma is infinitely closer to. It is also not being the vanilla Castle Tower key. So yeah, 2 big chests for Gamma to check. The trip back to TR. Maybe Harrow Basement? I'm not actually sure if Gamma ever checked that.
He has. He
Okay.
has in combination with the big chest.
Right. Like, it has been a bit at this point. Like, there are some checks I forgot. I definitely know that IConIC went back for it at some point. I mean,
first
we
we
do
will
obviously
see-
have the tablet checks. We just found the book, so absolutely makes sense to follow that. Might be going back for TR.
It looks like.
So this will give IConIC some time to catch up. So, like, still IConIC basically has to go to Swamp Big Chats immediately after Armor's Knights here. Everything else is just not helping. Like, let's make no mistake about that. It is basically IConIC's last realistic out to immediately straight go to Swamp Big Chest and find the Castle Tower key there. And IConIC should absolutely know. I mean, also Meyer cutscene chest, maybe. Like, one of those two has to be, and IConIC has to be right on the first pick. And Gammachuu probably has to pick wrong on the either one. But this is going to one, IConIC is going to GT, and I mean, IConIC should probably know that with the bow that he found late, he is in a basically losing position. So IConIC should have all the information to make that gamble that he would need to. But it is still just, yeah. You don't know. Like, I mean, we could, I mean, it's pointed out in chat, IConIC could just go more GT here anyway. Say if it's GT basement, I've lost anyway, so let me just do what I need to do and maybe hope that it's enough. But yeah, I mean, you never 100% know how your opponent routed, which checks they skipped.
But I can also understand IConIC. I mean, you need to do GT. There is, on his point, the highest density.
I mean, I'm not saying that what IConIC is being wrong in a vacuum. It absolutely makes sense. The thing is, for this particular race, from what we see, and obviously with what we see as commentators, it's always way easier to make those calls because we can directly compare.
Yes.
Checking GT is not gonna win IConIC this race at this point. We know that an IConIC with skipping that bow for so long could reasonably infer just that. So full clearing GT for IConIC against their opponent that did route reasonable is not gonna cut it. So there's basically two ways of approaching this for IConIC. Either try to make that gamble where Gammachuu might last locate the GT small key on a very outside check that Gamma is likely to skip at some point and be lucky, or bank on Gamma having an almost, if not worse, route than you had, almost as terrible, if not worse, route than you did, and somehow clutch out the efficiency win there. Which we see that's not gonna happen because Gamma is hunting down those very last checks with enough of a lead that it basically won't matter at this point by what IConIC does. Because Gamma is now going back to that Swamp Palace big chest. Meanwhile, IConIC is full clearing GT basement, and that will take way too much time. So this is not Gamma's last check. There are 2 more checks available to him. Only one of them logically for now. That is the Ice Palace big chest. If we were to find the 3rd Meyer key, there is the Meyer cutscene chest. And the one check that is not available yet because we don't have the Thief's Hound small key is the Thief's Hound big chest. So if we find that, we can also do that check. And I believe after that we have checked every check in the game, if I'm not forgetting one. And I mean, okay, so if I did get everything correct, and we did not indeed skip something or miss a check, there has to be either Meyer small key or Thief's Town small key in Ice Palace big chest. The other one has to be in that respective check that it gets unlocked by that, and the last one that we get able to has to have the CT small key. So if Gamma did pay full attention and we get the Thief's Town big key, Gamma should actually just run straight to my cutscene chest. Unless we skipped a small key somewhere at some point, which I don't think we did. And if it's just the Thief's Town small key in Maya, then that's whatever.
Connie just found Ice Palace Big.
The Meyer key, so the Meyer key has to be the Thief's Town key, and Thief's Town Big Chest probably has to have the Castle Tower small key. Again, unless we did make any mistakes and forgot a small key somewhere.
One small key is on Lumberjack.
Well, okay, then if right, you are absolutely correct. So this has to be actually the Castle Tower small key. I forgot about that because it was so early on, but yeah, right, absolutely.
So this will mean Thief's Town is on Lumberjack and Castle Tower must be here.
Yep, absolutely. I really forgot about that small key over there. So yep. It would have been so easy, and there was actually a chance for IConIC by just doing cutscene chest. Oh boy.
Both runner decided to skip it. And in a few seconds we will get the answer.
There it is. And it could have been so easy, and IConIC could have actually gotten a comeback here. But neither runner doing cutscene chest. Because they only had one Meyer key at that point, so surely there won't be anything in there, right? Well, not this time.
So second Castle Tower on cutscene means GT was complete a go mode.
Absolutely do not blame them. That could have been very easily just been the third Misery Meyer key up there, so I actually do not blame Gamma at all for just saying, well, it's likely gonna be a Meyer key, so I can skip that, right? Well, Rando's gone to Rando.
Yes! but finishing GT will it make easy to Gammachuu. After killing Agony 1, he can straight fall into Ganon.
Gammachuu having a bit of fun using the bug net for Agumon. Like, if you get perfect hits like Gamma is doing here, doesn't lose you really any time. Like, the only thing where this would lose you noticeable time if you miss, which Gamma does seem to have the timing down well enough that won't matter, so you can do that, but make no mistake, if you see this and think, yeah, let me do it just the same as Gamma did, it's not as easy as Gamma made it look like. Like, you can do some horrible misses with the bug net timing. And that would just straight up cost you a lot of time that would just not be necessary. But yeah, time for Ganon, for Gammachuu. Butter Sword servers. 19 hearts, red mail. Like, I mean, it probably would be harder for Ganon, for Gamma to die than to actually stay alive, even if he wanted to.
Nice Ganon fight.
Yeah. One last bridge to cross for Gammachuu, and then we'll finish out this 416 out of 216 checks seed with a time of let me peek.
With an official time of 1:53:32.
Indeed. So yeah, a G to a Gamma. Like, we will be getting men for an interview, and we do have Gammachuu already with us, so GG Gamma.
GG's to you.
Hey, thank you. GG's. IConIC.
Have you words for the seed, and reminder, keep it family friendly.
I thought it was over. I thought the skip was reasonable. That Meyer small cutscene. I had only like one key to put GT and Logic left out there, and like once I got the skull with small key and TR, like yeah, I'm just gonna bet on GT having the Aga small key. That's probably a useless small key. I thought it could have been a Meyer small key too, so I didn't really think, felt too bad. Whereas late as I entered Meyer, I only had one key with very little left. So I thought that was a reasonable skip. But looks like he also made that skip too.
Absolutely. I would 100% agree. It was quite reasonable. It was not even nearly close to being logic at the time. And like it's just one check. Like how big are the chances that the entire chain does go down to that?
Yeah.
Like I mean, the one thing with the small key on Lumberjack always makes it maybe a bit worrisome because you know there's one more key out there which cannot be the castle key, so maybe. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, that also means no, there's one key that has to be behind that. So
Right. I was I would have full cleared. I felt like I normally would, but I felt pretty bad as how late I went into Ice Palace. So I'm like, I don't feel too good about this. So yeah, I just felt like making the skip is not super terrible. Yeah, I don't know how early he might have gone into Ice, but I did not feel good. Ice had the Fire Rod and
yeah,
what was it?
this
Yeah, Desert Big. It's just I didn't feel good.
yeah
Holding
that
off on
that was
score.
the thing because we've seen two very different races here basically, and it all came down to a very early decision of IConIC to just not go to East Mountain, and therefore being bowless for about an hour.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
Which,
Yeah.
in complete contrast to that, while IConIC went into pot with two small keys, you could just single dip it and full clear it the first time you went there. And it was logically absolutely required with an almost hilarious logic chain, by the way. I don't know if you fully noticed, but I sure was having my giggles with that.
Yeah, what was it? A pod small and first chest of swamp.
Yep.
Swamp small and pod. And
Yep.
the lamp and swamp is like,
Yep.
oh, that's so dumb. The mitts on Helmasaur.
Yep. Exactly that. So.
And talking about IConIC, he wrote in the race room chat he will not join us to the interview. He thanks every one who was involved into the restream, and he wishes us a nice weekend.
I mean, quick note to that too. The fully notice IConIC did forfeit a few minutes ago. Comparison, which is understandable. Was just basically that decision to skip Eastern Mountain the first time and then going back with the hook shot over to Hera, but deciding to skip Spiral Cave a second time was just
They skipped it again.
it was just
Yeah.
went early into pot with only two keys, got the third one, cleared most of it. Then immediately after found the pot big key. Decided to try and hold out on it for a bit, but eventually returned with all 6 pot keys. But no bow back to pot because he still had the big chest and the vanilla big key chest open, which unfortunately were not the check that he had to do at the time.
That's really unfortunate.
Had to go in the third time, and by that point you were just like efficiently full clearing the seat. Like it looked like there was no chance ever that IConIC could ever make a comeback. And
if only he had done that check as well.
Yeah, if IConIC actually would have gotten that would have done that cutscene check, IConIC might actually have clutched out the win anyway.
Definitely. He would go more GT and
because by that point, to be fair, IConIC also did Smith Chain at the very end. So even after TR, he could not go into GT even if he wanted to. He had to still find the Eastern Palace big key by that point. But if he had cleared Maya at that point fully and gotten the Castle Tower key, he would for sure be able to just full clear GT, full go mode GT.
Oh boy.
And
yeah, that's really unfortunate. It sounds like all the choices he made, it just did not work out. Just kind of hurt him more and more each time.
Yeah,
that sucks. I don't remember where the other bow was. Was there?
That was in GT, so there was no way to get it.
So he needed a Spiral Cave.
No, wait. Wasn't it on Laser Bridge? That was
the second bow was on Laser Bridge.
Right. So
Okay.
like
Yeah,
you
so
technically could have gotten there, but you couldn't get there before the mids. So
yeah.
you had to find the Spiral Cave boat to get to Helma. So yeah.
That's unfortunate. Well, hopefully, maybe, he'll have a chance to, pull off a win over me. This one, I did not feel good. Once I got that Mega Small Key, I pulled up the race trim. I'm like, okay, well, if he's not done yet, I think he might have skipped it too. So, uh,
Yeah.
that's how Rando goes. So,
Pretty much. Like, if not for that very Castle Tower and that very Castle Tower key in that very location, like you would have won, like probably 20 minutes early, and IConIC would have not been even close to go mode. But
yeah. No,
not
that's
even 200 checks collected. Disappointing.
close. I almost got that damn item, and then I waited for that bird to catch me. But yeah, GG's again to IConIC, and I'm looking forward to game 2 versus him. And thank you both doing commentary, Relin and Phoenix. Appreciate that. And who did tracking?
Fishing Boo.
Oh, Fishing Boo. Thank Fishing Boo as well for doing tracking.
Yeah, was a pleasure that we were able to do this. Like it wasn't the most exciting race, unfortunately. You never can know that, and it's always fortunate to see one runner just get so badly punished for their decisions.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's random. You have those sometimes, and it could have been coming back all the full circle there at the end there. So
That's totally understandable. But yeah, he's just feeling massively behind, so I'm just thinking, making skips where he can.
yeah, like there were chances to maybe go to Swamp Big before going to GT. Like there were other options available. IConIC eventually decided to just skip cutscene check full clear TR. So if it would have been TR specifically, then maybe it would have gotten close. Although I think you were fast enough back for it to don't fully matter at that point. But yeah.
Yeah.
IConIC decided to just full clear GT basement anyway, and by that point there was not much else to do.
No more.
But well, yeah.
We'll see how game 2 goes. Maybe it'll go differently in his way. So
yeah, is there already a mode picked for that?
no, he has not said. I'll reach out to him and see what mode he's interested in. Yeah, we'll see when we race.
Look forward to that if you're interested to see how this group continues. It is your second win now. Going to all 4 stars probably can't feel too bad, even if the seat was not the most ideal one to run.
Yeah, this one's 3-0 right now. He was my third race.
Okay. There was one that wasn't noted. Okay, then.
Yeah, yesterday, last night against Tyler.
Okay, no, then that's actually your third one. That puts you in a very good position to move forward to brackets. So
yeah,
good start.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
And
thanks again.
For IConIC, nothing's over yet. It was
And
that was only the second race for him.
I just catch it up on race time. You will get your next race right soon.
Yes, I'm gonna get ready for that. Cross Keys versus Faker. So.
Final.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Good luck there.
Also from my side.
Thank you.
Although technically we actually probably would be more rooting for our fellow German. So
yeah, that's totally understandable.
But
I try to give him my best.
He's already given me a loss in Swiss stages, so I wouldn't be surprised he crushes me here in game 2 and brings it to game 3.
I mean, he has been just learning so quickly and getting so strong. I wouldn't really be surprised if that happened.
Very strong runner. And a scary hover.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm gonna go get ready. Thanks again, all. I appreciate it.
GG's again, and good luck for the following race.
Thank you, thank you.
And speaking of following races, I'm
In round
Was
about
told-
25 minutes, we will get the next race here on SpeedGaming. It's U Group Raylan, Zenitred versus Zenit versus Nochibato.
Yep, this is going to be a cross hunt that is scheduled for this very channel. No commentators yet as of this point. So
If
yeah,
you got time, and I know it's really short, feel free to join up as commentator. We will appreciate it. So, but
yeah.
for now, I say also thank you to our Tractor Fishing Boo. Also, a big thank you to you to commentating with me. It was a pleasure, and I wish you now a nice afternoon or evening, and we see us next time.
See you for the next race.
Bye.